You're a bit low, up a bit. Make me look better.
No, it's eye level.
It's not eye level. It's fucking
That?
Adam's apple level. Yeah, that's eye level. Fucking hell. Who I am? That's a mystery. Who I am, and where we are. We're somewhere in Bloomsbury on a cold winter day. And who I am, who knows? Now, when I was a kid, we went to the cinema a lot because it was cheaper than staying at home and putting shillings in the gas meter, because you have to put a shilling in the gas to keep the place warm. So it was cheaper to go to the cinema, because all three of us could go to the cinema. Cheaper, that's my mother, my sister and me. And we used to take bread and jam sandwiches, and we used to go to the cinema maybe 5 or 6 times a week. So I knew every Hollywood movie in those days, and every director, every actor, everything. So that was my only so-called art influence, if you can call it art. But then I was pissed off with Hitler because he bombed the cinema in Upton Park, so I thought he'd killed Bambi and Mickey, come to that. And the other films I remember, the film that I really remember is, I think it was a William Wyler film called The Best Years of Our Life, because it was the only film that had an intermission. I thought that was kind of weird to have an intermission, because usually there was 2 films, there was an A film and a B film, and you used to sit through them, sometimes watch them all through again, because they didn't clear the cinema each time. But with The Best Years of Our Lives, they cleared the cinema each time. Next. I gave it some thought when I was about 12, but not because I like the idea of photography. I like the idea of chemicals and putting a piece of paper in some chemicals and an image came out. So in the beginning it was just a technical thing. I like the magic, I still like the magic of developing something and something coming out. It's still magic to me. And I didn't really think about photography. I started to think about it when I was 16, 17, when I was interested in jazz, Chet Baker, because I quite liked the record covers that were coming out the west coast of America. But my real interest started in the Air Force when I saw a Cartier-Bresson picture that convinced me that photography could be as interesting as painting. Next. The first picture I took was a picture of my mother, my father and my sister on Margate when I was about 12, I guess, or maybe 10. And I remember my father telling me that the camera was crooked, could I keep it straight? And that was probably the first picture I remember taking. I still have it. I took lots of pictures of the Krays. They were like East End gangsters. I mean, I quite like Reg. I don't think they were the guys next door. I don't think they were very pleasant, but I got on well with Reg. I sort of did lots with them. I never make moral judgment when I take pictures. I take pictures of people, and it's not my job to make a moral judgment. Well, it's completely, the East End now is completely different. I mean, it's much more colourful now because of all the Asians. So it's not really, it's sort of, it's as exotic as Calcutta or somewhere. I mean, it's more. I go to India quite often. It's more Indian in East Ham than it is in Delhi almost, because Delhi's like a city, a modern city now. So you can't compare. They're 2 different places. I mean, the East End doesn't really exist anymore. In fact, I'm probably the last Cockney standing. I don't have favourite pictures. It's like saying, what's your favourite colour? I mean, all colours are my favourite colours. So I don't really have favourites. It's not like Top of the Pops or the Hit Parade or whatever they call it these days. It's just, and if it goes in a book, it's a picture I like. If it doesn't go in the book, it's probably a picture I didn't like. Well, anyone can take a picture, can't they? All you do is got to point the camera and click it. But to make something more of the picture, you've got to insert something of yourself. And I can't tell you how to do that. You have to learn to do it, and you have to probably be doing it for a long time before it happens. My paintings are usually about Hitler and the war, the Second World War. And the sculptures are sort of loosely, I suppose, influenced by what they call primitive art, but it's not primitive, it's very sophisticated art of Africa or New Guinea. And my latest sculptures are based vaguely on Maoris in New Zealand when they stick their tongues out. So I always find it fascinating when they greet people with their tongue hanging out, and the Queen says, "Oh, isn't that charming?" There's a little bronze over there a very small one, which is the smallest one. It's called the Comfortable Skull. Skulls, I photograph a lot of skulls. In fact, my latest series of pictures, besides India, are skulls and dead flowers, which I think is sort of symbolic of something. Skulls are also individual as well. You know, flowers are about life and skulls are about death, so it's always an interesting combination when you put the two together. Where do I get the skulls? Oh, from the skull shop. You used to be able to buy one for £100. Now you'd be lucky to get one, probably at least 3,000 or 4,000, depending on the age of the skull. Very old skulls get a very nice patina on them. I've got some 19th century skulls that are kind of wonderful. With some dead roses. I don't know what that is. That's nothing to do with me. Could be, it's the devil. But that's a hippo skull. That's a tiger skull. All different skulls. That's some kind of boar. I love the way the horns have grown completely around him. And that's a oddity. That's a pig with too many legs, with 8 legs. This is Andy Warhol. It's called Dead Andy. And he'd be eventually sitting in a can of baked beans, and it'd be cast in different coloured metals, bronze but with different colours. But it's finding time, because I'm always lumbered with people like you taking up my time, so I can't get on with what I'm doing. I'm intrigued with everything. If I look at a clothes peg, I'm intrigued. Everything has meaning. Everything's sort of important, really, because everything relates to everything else. I think about death every day since I was born, since I can remember thinking, because I was brought up during the war in London, and death was all around me, so it's always kind of been there. It's always been a presence in my life. That's a skull. That was someone who was executed in the back of the head. You see the bullet hole from the back, and it blew out the front of her head. I think it's a female skull. Anyway, skulls are us, right? Good. What do I think about death? Can't beat it.